What's up everyone, Chance here with Missouri Outdoors, and this is my 7 most profitable roots in Missouri series. The list includes ginseng, Texas Virginia snake root, golden seal, Indian turnip, blackhosh, and bloodroot. I will showcase live specimens in the field as well as a digging demonstration. So come along on this journey to find the most profitable roots that could just possibly be growing in your own backyard. First up is ginseng. It needs moist, well-draining soil. It grows near ferns, bloodroot, golden seal. It likes the peaks of steep mountains and hills. A good tip would be to follow trenches off the hills. They tend to accumulate in those. The seeds can kind of wash off the hill and fall out in low pressure zones. And these are great locations to find ginseng. Ginseng grows best in areas that have 70 to 80% shade. Rocky soil is a good place to look. The rocks, when the ginseng seeds get washed off the hill during heavy rain, the rocks help the seeds get stuck. So it's a great place to look. Plus, I find that ginseng plants in rocky soil are actually easier to dig out. Next up is Virginia Texas snake root. It likes well-draining soil in partial shade. It grows near other plants such as golden seal, blackhosh. It loves ground rich in organic matter. Old growth areas are a great place to look. Unfortunately, I wasn't really able to find that much of it. I ended up finding this plant on the day we filmed the golden seal portion of the most profitable roots you can dig video series, and I ended up having to ask my root buyer if this was indeed Virginia Texas snake root, and he assured me it definitely was. However, I'm not really sure, on digging one. I didn't dig this one just because he told me it would take, well, probably more than 1,000 plants to actually make a pound. However, we might be able to transplant them into a raised bed situation and get them to grow much larger if you was trying to market and sell them. Next up is golden seal. It likes growing in areas with rich, loamy, moist soil. It likes slight inclines. 70 to 75% shade is necessary for optimal growth, with a soil pH level of around 5.5 to 6.5. When digging, it is very important to be careful because the golden seal root will have a lot of little stringers coming off of it that help add up when it comes time to weigh it. The root itself isn't very big. It's, about that big right there. The root itself is probably the size of a quarter, and then it has all the little stringers coming off of it. Next up is Indian turnip, or Jack in the Pulpit. It prefers to grow in mildly alkaline-rich and acidic neutral soil. Well-draining soil with partial shade are great areas, especially with average but not excessive water content. These are some photos I had to get stock off the internet. I have a bunch of it that grows in my ginseng area, but by this time in the fall, it had already died back for the year. The most I could find was one of the seed pods at the top. However, this spring, I plan to go in there and do a full-fledged video and dig a bunch of it for you. Next up is bloodroot. It needs open to deep shaded wooded areas, growing near blackhosh, golden seal, and wild ginger. I tend to find it in all of my wild ginger patches. Moisture and well-draining soil are a must. I find it near the midway up the slope on pretty steep hills. And yes, as the name suggests, if you break it or scratch it, it will indeed bleed. Next up is Blackhosh. It likes rich, moist soil with a high organic matter content. It can grow in partially shaded, or direct sunlight areas. It also requires a pH level similar to Goldenseal at around 5 to 6. I have noticed it tends to grow in rocky areas and non-rocky areas. However, the non-rocky areas grow much larger roots than like the one you see us digging here. And finally, last on the list is wild ginger. It likes full to partial shade, needs well draining, acidic and moist soil. The rhizome style of the plant spreads quickly throughout the area. And when I say quickly, I mean quickly. This stuff is everywhere. It is in literally every patch of all the other roots we ended up digging in this entire series. However, it is worth the least amount out of all of them. You could spend hours upon hours digging it. It is just that plentiful. It is everywhere. An important thing to consider with these prices is they are all subject to change, especially the ginseng. Some years, the later on in the ginseng season, the more it's worth. However, most of these prices tend to stay the same year after year. Although, each year it's always important to check up on the prices and make sure something hasn't plummeted or went up massively, and that's where you need to focus all your attention. But anyway guys, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to leave me a like down below, comment if you want to, and as always, make sure to hit that subscribe button. It never costs a thing, it helps the channel grow, and I sure do appreciate it. Have a good one.